Hello and welcome to July's Metastatic Breast Cancer podcast, where we continue our journey through Thich Nhat Hanh's No Mud, No Lotus, The Art of Transforming Suffering. And we're moving into the next phase of his book where he talks about practices for happiness. And in these times, filled with so much suffering in the world around us, internally and externally, it really is vital to our own mental health and physical health and well-being that we focus on creating more happiness, more peace, and more joy from within. Thich Nhat Hanh says that happiness is not an individual matter, as we talked about in last month's podcast. He says that the art of happiness is the essence of our practice being described as transforming suffering into happiness. It's not a complicated practice, but it requires us to cultivate mindfulness, concentration, and insight. It requires, first of all, that we come home to ourselves, that we make peace with our suffering, treating it tenderly, and looking deeply at the roots of our pain. It requires that we let go of useless, unnecessary sufferings, releasing the second arrow and taking a closer look at our idea of happiness. So I want you all in the coming month to really think about, what does happiness look like to you? And happiness is going to look different to all of us. And that's okay. I offer the reflection for the coming month of really sitting and reflecting upon, what does happiness look like to each of you? And whatever that might be, ensure that you're making time and creating space to have more happiness in your life. Thich Nhat Hanh says that finally it requires that we nourish happiness daily with acknowledgement, understanding, and compassion for ourselves and for those around us. We offer these practices to ourselves, to our loved ones, and to the larger community. This is the art of suffering and the art of happiness. With each breath, we ease suffering and generate joy. With each step, the flower of insight blooms. And this is a really important point. We have to really have happiness, we have to practice it daily. And so often we're caught up in the constant to-do list, the robotic nature of how our routine unfolds in our day, that by the end of the day, we haven't even had time to contemplate what makes us happy, what brings us joy. So again, for the coming month of July, I want you all each and every day to sit and contemplate what makes you happy, what brings you joy. And that in itself is an act of resistance and an act of cultivating this happiness and peace from within. Thich Nhat Hanh says that the mind can be described as being made up of particles, like the drops of water in a river called mental formations. Each drop of water in the river of the mind is a mental formation. Mindfulness, concentration, loving kindness, and insight are all mental formations. And he offers a number of different exercises, one of which I'll be sharing with you all today that you can practice, to help the objects of the mind focus, because mental formations always have their objects. To be angry is always to be angry at something. To love means to love someone or something. So now, wherever you are, come to a comfortable seat. Gently relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears, relaxing and releasing any tension in the neck, the jaw, and slowly and gently arriving into this moment wherever you are. And gently exhale all of the air out of the lungs. And now take an inhale. And as you do so, repeat silently to yourself, breathing in, I feel joy. Now as you exhale, breathing out, I feel joy. Breathing in, I feel happy. Breathing out, I feel happy. Breathing in, I am aware of a painful feeling. Breathing out, I am aware of a painful feeling. Breathing in, I calm my painful feeling. Breathing out, I calm my painful feeling. We'll repeat that 2 more times. Breathing in, I feel joy. Breathing out, I feel joy. Breathing in, I feel happy. Breathing out, I feel happy. Breathing in, I am aware of a painful feeling. Breathing out, I am aware of a painful feeling. Breathing in, I calm my painful feeling. Breathing out, I calm my painful feeling. Last time through. Breathing in, I feel joy. Breathing out, I feel joy. Breathing in, I feel happy. Breathing out, I feel happy. Breathing in, I am aware of a painful feeling. Breathing out, I am aware of a painful feeling. Breathing in, I calm my painful feeling. Breathing out, I calm my painful feeling. I'm going to offer a few moments of silence now to absorb our practice. And as you still sit with this feeling within, the simplistic breathing exercise is a wonderful one that you can do daily, where you can make use of mindfulness to bring in a feeling of joy, any place, any time. Mindfulness helps us to recognize the many conditions of happiness we already have. When a painful feeling or emotion manifests, we should be there to take care of it. With mindfulness, we recognize the pain, embrace it, and bring relief. This exercise calms the body and mind and makes them peaceful. Body, mind, feelings, and breath are unified. So this is a practice that I invite you to do as you move throughout the month. And as you do so, you're bringing awareness to the body, the mind, reuniting the body and mind. Breathing in and out, you're becoming aware of your body. You may notice tension and pain in your body, and if you do, you can focus your energy and your attention on those places and spaces to release it. And just to sit and contemplate again, what does happiness look like to you? And whatever that looks like, I want you to, in the coming month, really focus on creating space and room to do more of what brings you happiness. And I now want to share a story by Thich Nhat Hanh that talks about the whole world as our territory. We may think we are only responsible for our own suffering and happiness, but our happiness increases the world's happiness, and our suffering is the world's suffering. In Vietnam, there is a Buddhist folk tale about Mara, the personification of distraction, attachment, and despair, the devilish character that Ananda tried to keep away from the Buddha's cave. They say that before the Buddha's enlightenment, when the world was under the reign of Mara, there was a lot of war and violence. People suffered enormously. But they reminded themselves, if there is Mara, there is the Buddha. We don't need to worry. The Buddha will appear eventually. On the day the Buddha became enlightened, he sat very quietly. Mara said, "Who is this guy sitting so quietly?" Mara didn't disturb the Buddha. He just allowed the Buddha to sit. After sitting in meditation, the Buddha stood up and walked mindfully, freely, and peacefully. Mara asked, "Who are you? Why are you here?" The Buddha said, "I see that this earth is a beautiful place. The scenery is lovely. The early morning is beautiful. The afternoon and the evening are beautiful. I see these wonders and it makes me so happy. I don't need to have any possessions or wealth. I don't need anything. All I need is the opportunity to sit still and to be able to walk on this beautiful planet." Mara thought that this wasn't a bad request. "Okay, you can sit as much as you want, walk as much as you want," he said. A few days later, the Buddha asked, "I have a few friends. Actually, I have 1,250 friends, and they all want to sit. They all want to walk in mindfulness. Can we have an area here to sit and walk mindfully and peacefully?" Mara said, "Sure, if you sit and walk, that's fine. How much space do you want to have for practicing sitting meditation and walking meditation?" Back then, they didn't have fancy measuring devices. The Buddha said, "I have 3 robes. If you agree, I'll take off my outer robe and I'll throw it up in the sky as high as I can. The shadow cast on the earth by my robe is the land I want to have for sitting, walking, and living mindfully." Mara said, "Well, the most it could be is just a few miles." "Okay." The Buddha rolled up his robe and threw it up in the sky. The robe went high, high, high up. Then it opened and the shadow of the robe covered the whole planet. From then on, the Buddha and his students walked all over the earth, practicing compassion and mindfulness and helping people suffer less. We all have the right to do the same on this planet, lessening suffering and increasing happiness. This earth is not just the territory of Mara, but also the territory of the Buddha. And I think that's a very important and poignant story given the time that we are in. And as we end July's podcast, I want to remind everybody again the words of Thich Nhat Hanh. Our happiness impacts the world around us, and our suffering impacts the world around us. So the more that we can focus on creating happiness internally, the more that we can manifest that externally. Wishing you all a safe and blessed month ahead, and I hope that you will join us for July's Metastatic Breast Cancer Mindfulness Group later this month. Stay safe.